Hey YouTube, Welgo here before this week's episode of the Scheduled Maintenance Show. Just want to hop on before we get into the episode to talk about May being Mental Health Awareness Month. This episode, we talk a lot about mental health with my good friend Sperry, and I want to make sure you guys know that if you're struggling, it's okay. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be okay. And if you do need help, there are services available. We do know of the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988 across the nation to help you get the help that you may need. So consider call, text 988 to get you the help that you may need to get yourself in a better state of mind. We love you. We want to see you take care of yourself, and there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of help if you need it. So without further ado, we're going to get into the episode, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the Schedule Maintenance Show, where we've got dogs barking like crazy. If you can hear them or not, I'm not too sure. Welcome in. I'm your host, the guy who owes a lot to his therapist he's been seeing over the years. I'm Welgo. Hi, welcome in. Today, we have a new guest on the show that isn't Ashley. Somebody who I'm very excited to have on. She's an incredible creator that not only makes some amazing content, but somebody I'm very proud to call a friend and see that she's trying to break down stigmas about talking about mental health. So without further ado, let me bring her on here. It's the one and only Sperry Streams. Hi, Sperry. Oh, you're muted. There we go.
Hi. No, I just did that because, again, like we said, the doggos, they be doing their things.
They do be doing their things.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me on. This is so exciting. I'm very, very excited any chance I get to yap about mental health and just like the human condition and all of that life stuff. It's very exciting for me. So thanks again for inviting me here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was, Sperry's a bit lower. Thank you so much. I will turn her up. I appreciate you being here. I know when I had a gap in the schedule, I was like, who am I going to get on here? Given that May is, Mental Health Awareness Month, this was such a good, perfect matching to have you on here. And I really wanted to talk to you just because I know mental health is something that's a big conversation people don't like to talk about. And I knew I've been doing my own stuff for years, and I'm like, I really want to have an episode talking about that. I'm like, I know I got to have you on. So thank you for making the time. Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. No, this is an awesome opportunity. And yeah, I think that our communities are definitely I think that they'll be excited for this. And I'm seeing a lot of people obviously like in chat and stuff like that, people that I recognize. And I know that this is just something that is can be really uncomfortable, but that's one thing that I love. And
Absolutely.
I say that as somebody who specializes in like couples therapy and communication and all of that stuff. I'm well familiar with uncomfortable conversations. So hopefully it'll be a little bit easier after today.
Well, we can only hope, right? And thank goodness too you're here because, like you said, we're already seeing people in chat. YouTube, you can't see it, but there's already some unruliness and degenerate behavior in chat. So it's glad that we have a therapist on today. So that's fantastic. Before we get started, we've been doing something on the show the past few weeks, and I think it's now only fair, being a gaming type show, to start here. What games have you been playing the past or recently? We all know World of Warcraft's the biggest one, but is that it, or what's been going on in Sperry's gaming world?
Yeah, so World of Warcraft is pretty much my only game. I did take a mild detour and I played Palia for a little while, but I haven't been doing that since since housing dropped in WoW. I will say that I tried to download Diablo 4 because I was going to give that a go, just because I've been seeing everybody react to like the cinematics and the lore, and it looks really emotionally rich, which obviously I eat that up. So I'm like, man, maybe it's time for me to try this dang game. But wouldn't you know it, my computer is so full. So it was just like, no, girl, you're not getting WoW and Diablo. You better figure out your storage situation first. So yeah, I tried to branch out, and the universe said no. It said stick to your lane, play WoW. Don't just do that forever.
That's so
so
real.
that's been about it. Yes.
The eternal struggle of our hard drives not having enough space for everything we
Yes.
want to do.
Mhm.
I've got like 2 or 3 externals just for like recording footage that I edit, and I still feel like I've run out of space. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I was talking in my friend Valk's stream. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with.
We love Valk here.
Valk. She's amazing. But
all my homies love Valk.
Oh, she's told me like a million times. She's like, Sperry, get an external. I've been telling you for years to get an external. And I'm like, I know it's somewhere around here. I think Mr. Sperry has one. But yeah, so that's the battle.
Well, cool. Palia's been fun then. You're having fun in there. I've seen some barf at Palia, but
We've got a lot of Palia haters. It's fine. They hate for the clout, I think. But
that's yeah. I could see it.
I haven't been on there, but yeah.
Unfortunately, my brain hears Palia, and I think Pal World, which I know is like not too far off, but at the same time, like completely different. So I gotta refamiliarize myself with Palia.
Yeah, so I would say the only thing that I know about Pal World is it seems kind of like Pokemon adjacent, but and I only know that from Mr. Sperry because he plays Pokemon Go, and then he's like, "Look at this nonsense that they're putting out there." Meh, meh, meh.
Well, that and what created the entire legal battle of Nintendo for the past year. So
right.
Jeez. We're going to make a patent about capturing creatures. Yes, because that's going to go over so well. Good job, Nintendo.
Only we can do this.
Oh, my God. Anyway, Nintendo craziness aside, that sounds like a lot of fun. I've got re-addicted to Factorio recently, and I have not found my way out of that base building. I am a slut for when it comes to games like that, where it's like, oh, build up this factory, and then you always reach a point of either not enough resources or you need to expand to make more resources. So like Factorio, Satisfactory, Space Engineers, I'm a slut for those games, and unfortunately I will lose entire days without eating or drinking and not realizing it. So
yeah, the hyperfixation activates and then time just disappears.
Well, number go up, and that makes me happy. So
yeah, it's the cheap dopamine.
Oh, but that's the best stuff. I mean, if it's not, that's why fast food's so good. It used to be good. It's cheaper and better, but we don't talk about that now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Speaking of gaming and stuff, I wanted to give you a congratulations because I know last month you celebrated a year of streaming. So huge congrats there. How's that feel?
It actually doesn't feel real. Like somehow it feels like it's both been so much longer and so much shorter than a year. And I just remember like starting out not really expecting too much. I was just like, I'm gonna make some connections like in the gaming community and help people find like-minded people that, just inspire human connection. I want to be a presence, be a soft place to land on the internet just in case people are struggling and they don't really know where to go. But yeah, the fact that it's now been a year into streaming and I've been fairly consistent with it. I don't know if any other ADHDers can relate to this, but there are so many times that I have like a really exciting dream or a really exciting idea. And then it's like a firework, like strong, but short. And I burn out and I don't continue it. So the fact that we are now past the year mark and we're continuing to create and we're continuing to stream and we're continuing to meet new people, like that alone has been a huge personal accomplishment for me, regardless of how like large the community is, which it's still growing. I'm still amazed that there's like so many people that want to continue to hang around and have these conversations with me and stuff like that. I think it's really awesome. So yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm still very like, wow, it's been a year already. And also like it's somehow, feels like an eternity and a blink of an eye all at once.
Absolutely. And like I know like I hop into some of your streams. I've been in your Discord and it just seems that more and more people keep flocking to you, which is just amazing to see for you. So with
Thank you.
and just seeing how almost everybody that seems to interact with your streams that I've seen is just so like excited to talk to not only you but everybody else in chat or
Yeah,
Discord.
yeah.
You talk about fostering community and connection. You definitely have seemed to figure out some of the formula, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the beauty of the Discord, like that has really become what I had hoped it would be,
Mhm.
where it's not always me like responding to people in need. Like I love the Proceed with Compassion channel. I think there's a conversation actively going on right now, actually, where people can just come for help or to vent or to just talk about things that could be potentially controversial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Initially, I planned that to be where we could learn how to like disagree respectfully and like learn how to have good arguments. But what it's turned into is just like a support forum. And I love that. And it speaks a lot to the community. And also my toddler is yelling at me, but she's fine. She's just trying to put a dress on.
Gotta
But
love
yeah,
the kids.
I know.
Well, and you talk about building something for one purpose and turning into another, with you saying you coming into streaming for not really any expectations, knowing what it's gone to. How's the past year
Mhm.
felt kind of starting with that mindset and seeing it build into what it has? What's that journey been like for you?
I think I set I set myself up well in the same way that I set myself up for parenting, and that was like all I know is that I know virtually nothing. I did not have any experience with Twitch before I started streaming. Like I didn't have any experience with content creation. I didn't have any experience with anything, and I didn't have a plan really. I just was like, I mean, whatever, we ball. Like we're just gonna figure it out. All I knew was that I wanted to start having conversations where people could get more comfortable with uncomfortable things. And if there was anybody in an emergency, I could be somebody that they recognized as a safe space. And so I think sometimes the like perfectionist paralysis can kind of hit,
Oh yeah.
but I didn't really give it a chance to. So the funny thing is, as I was playing WoW, um, basically on a ThinkPad laptop, it was really tragic. It was not good. I was basically at a solid like 4 frames every single time I would get on the game,
Sometimes
and
that's all you need.
that's how I was yeah, that's how I was like rating and running content and all of that stuff. Um and there's somebody in our community that some of you may have seen. His name is Percy or Persephone. He's popped around from time to time, and he actually was a retired client. And I am very glad to say that we bridged the gap from, client therapist to just friends. Like we had met for a couple times. He was pretty much good to go. And then we had the WoW connection. He was a WoW player, and so was I. So he got my information from another mutual and was like, "Hey, would it be, uncomfortable for you, or would it be appropriate if, I tried to run some content with your guild?" And I said, "That's fine. We would just have to like terminate the." Like I wouldn't be able to be your therapist anymore. And so we had that conversation, and we've built a great friendship since then. He's good friends with my husband, and I've, now had more and more people come into my life that he knows. And he was generous enough to actually gift me his old gaming PC when he
Wow.
upgraded. And so then I was like, wait, can this stream? Can this thing run WoW and streaming? And he just laughed and he said, yes, it can. So it was like
Silly thing. Yes, of course.
summer child. Um, so he delivered the PC, and it was like that night that Mr. Sperry and I went and bought my little Logitech webcam, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna set things up and I'm gonna do it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, the opposite of a plan, but we just kind of went with it, and I think that's allowed the community to grow because I haven't really pigeonholed it as far as I know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that and just the amazing community of creators, like you've been helpful in the past when like talking through certain things. Noobish Dad, he really helped me like set up my whole OBS stuff. I've talked to Shep Quest a lot, countless others that are so willing to just give advice and give recommendations. I think the community here is really, really great in that way.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Sometimes the fuck it we ball method works, and sometimes
Yes.
you still need a little bit of help. So
Yeah.
I was very happy to be able to help you with the parts I helped with, and I'm sure everybody else that you mentioned was happy to help that as well too. Because I mean,
Oh
at
yeah.
the end of the day, and Twitch has gone through evolutions, or content creation has gone through evolutions where everybody either saw each other as competitors or just friends
Mhm.
in the creative space. So hearing you got the latter versus the former definitely
Yes.
makes my heart happy, because
Yeah.
boy howdy, the competitive side of it was very, very toxic.
Yeah, I have heard that there have been some toxic run-ins for a lot of people, and I'm very grateful that I haven't been on the receiving end of that so far.
Absolutely. I want to touch on something you mentioned, and it kind of jumps
Mhm.
ahead a little bit to the conversation topic. Is you
Mhm.
mentioned, was it Percy, correct? And
Mhm.
how they used to be a client of yours and everything.
Yep.
Um, I wanted to ask how you bridge the creator side with your professional side, especially considering I know you have, I believe one of your mods
Abso.
is Abso.
Yep.
Yes. You knew exactly where I was going with that. Um,
Yeah.
so how do you bridge that between, obviously you want to have these conversations, you want to show your knowledge and your professional side as to try to
Mhm.
help and build into it. But how do you make sure like that you keep that barrier to where all of a sudden you're not taking on an entire chat worth of clients, um,
Yeah.
but still trying to help
So
them without being, this is legal advice type thing.
right, right, exactly. No, I luckily, so certain professions have a written code of ethics that everybody has to be tested on and agreed to follow when
Yeah.
you go into your licensing and all of that stuff. So social work is very much like that. I am a licensed therapist. I'm in the vein of social work. So I am a licensed master social worker in the state of New York. And the code of ethics is very clear on what like a dual relationship looks like. And a dual relationship is what Abzo and I have, which means that we have the client therapist relationship, and then we also have a friendship that is outside of the therapeutic space. So there are already guidelines for how to do this. So when I realized that Abzo, the lore with Abzo is that he was a friend of Mr. Sperry's because of a community Pokemon Go group. And I see Amy saying, where are you licensed?" which is a running joke in my community as well. But when I found out, I was still a fairly green therapist. It was within, I would say, like my second year of practicing. And I like panicked and I was like, I had to tell my supervisor immediately because Mr. Sperry had read something that Abzo had said in their Discord. And I was like, wait, what did you say that guy's name was again? And I was like, and then he was like, he's your client, isn't he? And I was like, oh my God, shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm like, no, I didn't tell you anything. HIPAA, don't come for me. So yeah, it was like a really awkward thing for me to navigate initially, but it was very easy for me to have a conversation with him. And I said, look, I found out accidentally that you're friends with my husband. Obviously, they engage with each other on Discord, so
Hmm.
there are no names. Like there was no way that they would have found out. And I just had a very transparent conversation with him and with my supervisor. And I said, if this makes you uncomfortable in any way, I would be happy to help make recommendations for a different therapist. Obviously, I wouldn't share any of our details with my husband or with anybody else. And if any of you know Abso, you'll know this is very fitting. He's like, no, if I could share like my experience with therapy with everybody in the grocery store, I would. He's like, I think transparency around mental health is very important. And he's like, I'm not worried about any of that. I'm very open with how I think and how I live and all of that stuff and what I struggle with, because all of us are doing the same thing. And so he's like, I would rather not switch therapists if I can. And so we just talked about what the boundaries would look like. And when I started streaming, we had another very transparent conversation about what that would look like, because he's also very active in a couple different discords that are centered around mental health and things like that. So we just realized that it would be a really unique experience for people to be able to converse both with the therapist and the client on the perspective of therapy and what their experience is like. I'm like, man, this is really valuable, I think. Like, the fact that we have two people that are very transparent and open about what this process is like, for what for some is a barrier to even getting help. I'm like, I feel like this may be worth it. The pros outweigh any cons. And we also we check in with each other regularly, and we have the rapport and the trust that we're going to be honest. If there's something that I don't like or that is uncomfortable for me, I will bring it up to him. And same for him. And yes, Amy is right. There are Nerf guns involved. Abzo bought me a Nerf gun for my birthday one year, because I said that I was going to shoot him with a Nerf gun every time he was being self-deprecating. And then I when he got it, I was so excited. I like ripped it open, and then I immediately like loaded it and cocked it, and then I pointed it at him, and he flinched like a battered woman. And I'm like, I can't use this. I'm like, I can't do this additional trauma to you. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to use it. And but it really has worked out. As far as how do I keep the barrier of not taking on a bunch of clients from chat or from TikTok or from any other social media platform, it's very easy. I have a non-negotiable, like, I will not take any professional clients from the stream community. I say that every time I'm going to help somebody, or if somebody reaches out for advice, I'm like, I would be happy to talk through this with you. I think it would be very well worth your time to look into a therapist that is local, that can be consistent, if that is a possibility. But if not, I'm just a friend that knows certain things and can give, any kind of insight where there may be gaps. The thing about therapy is, like, if you're a good therapist, really there are no personal opinions or advice that you're giving people anyway. Like, your job is to be a sounding board and to just verbally process with people. And I find that a lot of people have what they need. They have whatever like answer they're looking for, and usually they're just kind of like avoiding it. So leading them back to that is the key component of therapy. So doing that for people that are struggling, that may message me on Discord or TikTok or wherever the case may be, like, it's very much the same thing.
Well, and I imagine too, like, because when you're on stream, yes, you have this experience, you have this background, you're not necessarily being a live service therapist in that way. So I imagine keeping that barrier, keeping that boundary for people is definitely necessary for yourself. Because I can only imagine people, you don't want people start going, hey, I tier 3 sub, now can you be my therapist? Right. You don't want that expectation people to have, especially with how parasocial some people can be on the internet. You can only imagine how that can be strenuous, I'm sure, at times.
Yeah. And I think, like, also it gives me a really good chance to practice my own boundaries. Like, I've said before, and I've shared with the Sperry Squad as they've come to be known, that if I'm having like an off day, like my promise, because I think that this is something that people are trying to learn trust with again too, is like, my promise is I'm not going to pour from an empty cup. Like, if I don't have the bandwidth to be helpful, then I will tell somebody that and say, like, there are a couple of people that I've done that, like, hey, I actually can't talk right now, but I would love to follow up tomorrow, or like, let me look at my schedule and see when I have availability for a conversation. Gory is saying that I leave them on red. Only my mods.
Oh, you too? Hell yeah. Let's go.
Oh, but that's about it.
She's a true creator. She doesn't listen to her mods as well. Absolutely. Welcome. Well, and I think that's an important thing too. Like, because whether it's you somebody who has professional capacity to listen, even just being a friend um to somebody and like understanding, hey, I need to vent, I need somebody to be there for me, but
Hmm.
checking, like I know I've got a couple friends who can vouch for me when I say this. I'll reach out and I'm like, hey, do you have the spoons for me to like vent or help me with
Yeah.
something? Because if they're people too, they're going through stuff, and if they're my friends, I know what they're going through. So
Yep.
I
I
don't
think
ever want to add to their plate if their plate's already about to tip over. So
yeah, for
it's
sure.
definitely good to have that communication of, hey, I need somebody, or if for roles reverse, I want to be there for you. But
Yeah.
I don't have the capacity to help you in a way that you deserve. Because it's not so much
Hmm.
you don't want to deal with them or help them with their things. It's just I know if between talking now or tomorrow when I've cleared my head, you will get a better response from me tomorrow than you would now. And
Yeah.
I want to give you the best I can, but if I can't, I want to at least let you know I'm not avoiding you. I want
Hmm.
to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I love spoon theory. I think it's a really great way to just like communicate. Oh, it's not that I don't want to. It's not that I won't at some point. It's just my spoons for today have been spent, and that's all.
Exactly. And
Mm.
it's giving that person that acknowledgement of, I know you've got a lot on your plate. Because if the
Mhm.
biggest thing I've learned, I mean, I've been going to therapy for close to 10 years now.
Mhm.
It started out as grief counseling to just personal health, mental health, and I still need to go because boy, howdy, is there a lot of stuff going on in my life that I just
Mhm.
don't know how to handle.
Mhm.
And a lot of stuff from my past I still don't know how to handle. So,
Yeah.
but just the biggest thing is just it comes down to communication, talking. You can't help others if they don't know, if they don't communicate to you. You can't
Mhm.
ask for help if you don't communicate that to people. It's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
you've mentioned and correct me if I'm wrong, you do a lot of couples counseling. I'm sure that
Yeah,
comes
I
up a
do.
lot.
Yeah, so it's funny because naturally I think that that's the one area where people don't usually have me talk about their issues and things like that because often, in these spaces, the couples are both present, So it's
Mhm.
like at this point, I have a friendship with both parties, and I think some people they don't know how to share about what's going on behind closed doors with somebody who is more of a friend than a therapist because naturally some of the things that come up in couples counseling are a little private. And so I think that that is the one dynamic that I haven't like bridged. There was somebody that was a guildie back in the day that just asked a couple things because they had hit a couple walls in their marriage. And I was like, look, I'm just going to forward you a couple of the resources that I use in terms of like how to start conversations, how to evaluate like each person's feeling about where they're at. And like it will help to find which areas, they are lacking most. Um, but aside from that, I was like, I'm just going to give you these that I use with my couples, and then I would encourage you to like talk to somebody and get an appointment scheduled. But yeah, I will say that the most fun that I have my when I have like my couples or communication things in my brain is I have a very drama-free guild. However, I will
Lucky.
say that, yeah, it's very funny. We just had like it wasn't even really drama. We had a couple people like G quit or whatever. And then, like the rest of the guild kind of roasted them. And it was on stream. And then,
Oh
there was like
no.
there was a little bit of like tension after that, but we all kind of like laughed our way through it. But I find that in the community, I'm very quick to offer whatever like expertise I have. But in the guild, I started to raid with them before I was a streamer. So
Okay.
I try to be really respectful of like not everybody signed up to be in a guild with a streamer. Like they are just like a chill group of people who've been raiding forever and they like to keep things casual. And I don't think they always appreciate the streamer affix, as chat calls it. So I'm
That is so good. Oh my goodness.
like,
I'm stealing that.
I know they're like, so I'm like, I don't know that they really want me to offer the fact that like, sometimes I'll read things from chat and I'll give them a second to talk things out before I jump in. And like, again, they didn't sign up to be in a guild with a streamer. They didn't sign up to be in a guild with a therapist. Like I joined what they had going on. So when they had stuff, I'm like, I'm just going to let the GM and the officers do their thing. And they know what I do and they know, some of my area of expertise. If they want my help, they'll ask for it. But I'm not just going to offer things up. I was like, oh, let me mediate really quick, or let me talk about like the communication dynamics that I can see, or the feedback loop, or blah, blah, blah. I can see that this person's lizard brain is activated and we probably need to take a step back from fight or flight before we have another conversation. Like I'm just going to let it rock and let the chips fall where they may, unless they decide that they want to ask me for help, because I think that it's really important that you don't assert your, assistance on anybody who's not ready to receive it or didn't ask for it.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to gamers and WoW. Like, if there's officers that normally handle that stuff, you don't want to be the one voicing up going, well, I can do this and that. And then all of a sudden people go, who the hell are you? And leave it to the officers. Man, yeah, I feel that so much. It's funny, like, because you say they didn't know they were getting the streamer affix. Versus like my side of things, like I've been streaming before I formed my, and there's even some people in the guild that found me because of my content that said, oh, I want to raid with them. Yeah. So like I hop into voice call and my entire guild bullies me and tries to get me canceled. So like my streamer affix is that when I load into voice chat for raid night, I say, guys, please no slurs. I'm streaming.
Please stop. Please
stop. I don't want to go to kick. I really don't. So, but it's true. It's like, even in that dynamic, like sometimes people don't want their stuff like this, they're saying in raid or voicing, they don't want it on. I've got, my stream pedal I've got the mute and the deafen buttons ready to go.
Yes.
Because like if they're starting to talk about something, or even like talking about somebody in the guild, whether it's friendly banter or not, I'm like, okay, they don't need to hear this. We're going to hard deafen. I'll vamp for 20 minutes. And then when I go back and realize they're still going, I'll vamp for another 20.
Yep.
And then hopefully we'll start pulling in the raid and everybody will be quiet.
It's very funny because like now now the guild has fun with it and they're like, they do the same thing. Like, how quick can we get Sperry canceled? But I think a lot of it is just, like being able to stay in your lane. It's just so good. I think it's really nice that like your guild already has the expectation that you're streaming and that you are the GM of your guild, correct?
I am, yes.
And so like you kind of get to run the show. It's very funny because I am one of every prog stream that we have, I'm like a whisper away from giving Gory an aneurysm because I tank for my guild. And also when Same. I'm like, and so he's just like watching this happen and he's like, hey, Sperry affix, streamer affix, you need to do this, you need to lock in. And now I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I promise I am. I'm just, now that wasn't even a streamer affix. That was just me, who I am. It was a skill issue. So I think, it's funny to try to balance all of that, but
it is.
We press on.
We do. And I know for me, like it's helped me to practice boundaries too. Cause like as much as it's the guild I run and that me and friends put together, I'm not like spamming my stream stuff. We have a channel for like with the Raider IO bot that's hidden away from everybody. Cause it'll post when somebody on the guild has gone live. And I'm the only one that's really signed up on that. The guild doesn't need to know that. I'm not one to like spam my guild with stuff. Like if I make a clip of a funny moment of us making fun of a guildie, I'll share just the raw clip. but like I'm
Right.
not going and advertising myself. And even with and then vice versa, like when it's raid nights, I've got a command that posts a message and I pin it of just like, hey, he's raiding, he's hard
Hmm.
focused, he'll
Yep.
respond when he can. Because like, especially now that I've taken over raid leading, I am now the stereotypical GM where I am guild leader, raid leader, tank,
Hmm.
and the only thing left is
Hmm.
to start dating one of my healers. Unfortunately, I'm turbo straight, and all my healers are men, so
It's so
th-
funny.
that's a problem. But no, so it's like
Oh,
having that boundary back and forth of like, okay, here's my stream attention, here's my guild attention. I don't want those to mix because I don't want to be
yeah.
spamming people with that stuff unless they want to. In which case, I'm like, here's my stream Discord, go there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very funny because we're quickly becoming we're quickly becoming like the joke is like we're a streamer guild, which we're so far off, but it's just because Valk and I are in the same guild. So now there's two
Yes.
streamers, and then our GM also streams, but he just does that because he's already in broadcasting for his career and he
Oh,
likes to
cool.
have like the VODs to. So yeah, it's just hilarious. Like every once in a blue moon, we'll have we're able to laugh it off a little bit. I think that there are a couple people initially that like we had to figure out what our dynamic was going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think now, eventually people that don't align with the culture of the guild, they end up leaving and that's fine. So the people who are left, they've just been really great, and getting to know them more as we continue to raid together each tier makes me really grateful for them. So yeah, shout out Tribe. They're great.
Shout out Tribe. And the other thing too is like it's 2026. The barrier to streaming is so much lower than it has been in years past or content creation in general. That it's like you could throw a dart at any guild, and I bet you one person has either dabbled or has streamed a singular raid night.
Oh,
So
yes,
like
100%.
it's almost assumed somebody is trying to stream it or be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, like it all comes back to it. Communicating that and knowing how everybody feels about it is key. So that's
Yeah.
huge. Um with that, we've kind of talked about you bridging the gap between your work and your content.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to touch briefly on your Sperry sessions because I know you've done a couple. You're starting to get back
Mm-hmm.
into them, and we were talking about earlier. I watched your recent one where you had Amy, Hula, and Sam on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
Oh, it was
Um,
such a fun listen to. Uh,
yeah.
how was that like for you to not only come back but to get a group of people that even in the episode you're like, I've been wanting to do this for months.
Yeah.
How-
So I will say one of the biggest challenges for me when it comes to content in general, again, is like I have a lot of really fun ideas, but I maintain a caseload of like, gosh, I mean, I probably have 30 to 40 clients that I see. And that's a challenge because I also am now on full-time mom schedule, basically, because in April we lost our childcare. And so
Jeez.
that has been quite the transition. So the times that I would normally be able to work on things here and there, they disappeared because I am, the meme that's like, the mom at the computer and her like kid is in the background and she's like, not now, sweetie, mommy's playing World of Warcraft.
Oh my
um
goodness.
I'm determined not to be that mom. Like I laugh at it because I'm like, yeah, everybody has their moments, it
Sure.
happens. But especially while my kid she's 3, and when she's in this like very impressionable like fundamental developmental stage, I really want to be attuned to her and like
Oh, for
give
sure.
her give her my all. And so that's taken up a lot of my time and energy. And then even though I'm getting a lot of extra time with her, my husband, Mr. Sperry, he is working a full-time job during the week. And so we don't get much time together, especially because now he comes home and I go to work. So I work from 4:30 to 8. Like I'm gonna do this, have this conversation with you, finish up things before I leave the house, and then I'll be seeing 4 clients tonight, and then I'll come home right after baby Sperry goes to bed, and then hopefully get some like game time with Mr. Sperry. But I'm very protective of the weekends because that's the only time we really get as a family. And
absolutely.
so now, if we have any mathematicians in the chat, you've realized that all of my spare time has been eaten up. And I try to do an afternoon stream for a Sperry session if I can, because I want to leave that. I find that the afternoon session works for any time zone. So I, was thinking about this when I did my second Sperry stream, which was with Anya, or Moswell Restaurant, as many of you have seen and come to know. And she is, she's in Europe. So I was like, well, I wanted something that could be kind of consistent. And I was thinking maybe once a month I could do a Saturday afternoon stream. The once a month did not happen because life quickly just drove a Mack truck right through my expectations. But again, being gentle with myself, recognizing I'm doing this for the first time, and whenever I can get it out, I can get it out. I'm kind of taking that approach. So I have a growing list of people that I'm looking forward to talking with. Right now, actually, feel free to share any recommendations that people may have. I'm super excited because June is right around the corner. And for those that don't know, that's a big focus on men's mental health. And I want to do a panel similar to what I did for the women in gaming, but talking specifically about just the state of expectation for men in general, and how challenging it is to kind of be public enemy number one for in a lot of situations.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that there are some people who have obviously created issues, but I think those are men and women both. And I know that there are a lot of, it's very popular to hate men in the year of our Lord 2026. And I'm not saying that some of them have not maybe deserved a little of that smoke, but I will say a lot of men are very hurt little boys on the inside that never got a chance to express their feelings. And I have a huge compassion spot for a lot of what men go through. So I wasn't planning on plugging that, but
You're fine.
it just kind of, I'm very, very excited for next month. So yeah.
No, and that I this is why I didn't really say anything to stop you, because that is huge. I mean, it is something that, shocker, as a man, it's not really talked about, because like that's a saying in chat. Like I got the same thing of just like, oh, just you
man up.
Yeah, just man up, rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine.
Yep.
Or one of my favorites was growing up in my later teens to early 20s was, oh, you just need a job and then you'll be happy. And that just, there's a lot of stuff that's just ignored. And I know, like for me, I've done a lot of work in the past 10 years to try to, not fix is the wrong word, but it's the one that comes to mind. Just learning to work with everything that has happened. Like you said earlier, give yourself the grace to be like, this did happen and how you're feeling is valid. But how do you move forward with that? How do you move forward knowing everything you've learned from your own therapy sessions, everything you've talked about, whether with a professional or with friends or what have you, and just being open to that communication. It's definitely hard for everybody. It absolutely is hard for any person out there, regardless of your situation, to be able to open up and trust somebody with that kind of help.
Oh yeah.
At the same time, it's like the courage is there in you, because you're obviously realizing, hey, I'm not feeling good. That next step is there. And I don't want to ever say it's not that hard, because it is that fucking hard sometimes. So.
Yes, it truly is. It truly is. No, I'm excited for that session, and there are quite a few other ones. Not necessarily wanting everything to line up with a month. I think sometimes I'm like, yeah, it'd be great to do this and to be inspired by that. I think sometimes it's a matter of just like, I would love to have a conversation with this person. And so I think letting those sessions come together kind of organically and giving everybody a chance to contribute. I love what Caleb says. He says the wisdom is in the room. And sometimes you just have to like let people speak, and you have no idea. Some of like the most groundbreaking advice that has changed my life have been in candid conversations in like a Socratic format, where it's just like, okay, people are just having a conversation and things come up, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I've never thought of that before. And those are like what make human connection so cool, so beautiful, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, when you break down like the formality of talking to somebody to just start on one topic and then 3 hours later you got to some other topic, you have no idea how you got there, and you
Yeah.
learn so much about a person or their thoughts or feelings and everything by just taking the pressure off to talk to somebody. And
Yeah.
again,
Yeah, just follow the flow.
communication.
Yep. Yep. Well, I like when you have somebody who is similarly structured with their kind of like their expectation or their cadence, and they're able to just kind of like ride the waves of of topic to topic.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients are like, I'm sorry, I have ADHD. And I'm like, listen, me too, girl, go
Same,
on.
bestie.
Like, yeah, same, bestie, we're gonna be fine, you just keep on going. And I love that. So that's like big in the a lot of like the foundational, I guess like the traditional psychoanalytic approach is the stream of consciousness, like just letting people word vomit, just letting it get out. And I my therapist, it's actually very funny, I am not a fan of the blank slate therapists. Are you familiar with what that means?
I
Blank
can't
slate
say that I
therapist?
am.
So blank slate, there's a theory that the best therapists present as a blank slate. You don't know anything about them. They don't give you any emotional feedback. They don't give you any. So it's essentially like that is the psychoanalytic approach. If you think about like the old man on the couch, or the old man at the desk, you're on the couch not facing him. Like that is the initial model of psychoanalysis, is that you just stream of consciousness, run with it, and the therapist may do prompts, may ask questions, but you don't contribute at all, really. And my therapist she is, I would say, like, she comes from a psychoanalytic background, and so she's big on the blank slate, and she
Okay.
also is big on like, she will not try to make me comfortable if I can't think of something to say. She doesn't stop me, and I'm a nervous talker, so I'll just kind of like babble if I can't think of anything. And she won't necessarily like give me prompts even. But
Okay.
we just talked about this in our last session, because she just started to like disclose and like give a little like reciprocity with the conversation. She's like, oh, I could see like you came alive with that, like you liked that I shared. And she was like, I've been very protective of that, but she was like, yeah, I can see that this was helpful to you, and this is something that allows you to kind of like engage, because it's like, a game of tennis. It's back and forth and back and forth, and I enjoy the rhythm of conversation. And it's very uncomfortable when I'm used to driving the ship with my clients and recognizing when they hit a wall, and like, I call it pulling the thread. Like, you want to pull the thread that is attached to the tangled ball of mess that we're trying to understand better together.
Yeah.
And so I'll try to like help them pull the thread if they get stuck. And when she doesn't do that for me, it's very uncomfortable. But I told her, I was like, the first year that, I was seeing her, I definitely needed that. I needed the blank slate. I needed the discomfort. And so she's excellent at what she does. Surprise, it took me a very long time to get into therapy, because I was like, this person has to be almost inhuman. Like, they need to be superhuman. But yeah, it ended up working out very well. So
Not to yuck
yeah.
anybody's yum, but that blank slate just sounds awful.
It's awful.
I know.
It's
I know for me, like thinking back through my therapy, like, yeah, the first few sessions to get started when she's learning about me and like what my issues are and everything I want to talk about, I definitely made sense of like, yeah, she's not ready to open up. She doesn't know how to connect with me.
Mm-hmm.
But as the years went on, we definitely have the rapport back and forth of like, I knew what was going on with her, and she would like equate to like, she'd made it personable in the stuff that like I was talking about, to not only be like,
Yeah.
it's not uncommon to deal with this. Here's how
Yeah.
some real life situations have happened before. Not being like,
Mhm.
oh, I've got it worse than you. Shut up, you crybaby. Nothing like that. But just
Right.
like being able to
You're not
equate it.
alone.
Exactly. You're not
Mhm.
alone. You can equate it to something somebody else is going through. And it does
Yeah.
help break that down a bit. Again, everybody's different. There's
Yeah.
always, especially with therapy being so personable, there's going to be a
Mhm.
style that works for some people that may not work for you.
Yeah,
And
100%.
just hearing the idea of blank slate, I'm just like, brother, ew.
Oh, yeah, brother, ew. That's exactly how I feel. It's very funny because like going back to my experience with Abso, um a lot of our discourse is around how he perceives me and me correcting the perceptions that he has about my experience because he sees me as a very as like a very like I can't even say this without laughing. He sees me as a very like effortlessly cool person, and I'm just like, "Oh, have you got it wrong, brother?" 'Cause
You say that while I'm shaking all over
it's
inside and wondering if I'm saying the wrong things. Yeah, thank you for that. I
no,
appreciate that.
it's so funny. He's like, you are like the most intimidating, like effortlessly, like intimidating yet welcoming, effortlessly cool person. Like joy is easy for you, like all of this stuff. And I was like, Abso, like you realize much like everybody else, I also hate myself. Like I'm working on it. Like every day I'm getting better. Like there are so many insecurities that I find, and it's all reps, and it's very challenging. And like this is how I experience this, and this is what's going on in my mind with this. And he's like, oh, okay, well, like that makes sense. It may not align with what my initial perception was, but this makes me see the connection between this tool or this skill that we talked about and bridging the gap to what an effortlessly cool person must experience, like, and I think that helps because it demystifies whatever, I don't know, like superhuman quality you see in somebody else. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, well, that they're not necessarily like special or set apart or anything like that, or like better equipped to handle certain things. Like they've just done the reps, they've just done the practice.
Well, and it comes to like whenever somebody sits down and starts comparing themselves to like their peers or somebody they
Hmm.
aspire to be like, it's like all you see is what's put forward. And you go, well, they've
Yep.
got their life together. I don't, therefore I'm a failure. To where
Hmm.
you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know what's going
Yeah.
on under the hood. Like there's so much that's
Mhm.
not being presented that
Yes.
is creating this perception for you that's really making you think not only wrong about that person, but wrong about yourself.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
that
for sure.
snowball effect of like, well, hold on a second. Let's break it down a little bit. Let's
Hmm.
have this conversation and see, oh, they've got their stuff together, but they also had to go through thousands of iterations of how to organize themselves until they found something that works for them. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
Lord knows
Yeah.
I have about 17 different calendars I've tried with my ADHD to keep myself organized, and
Oh yeah.
none of them have worked yet. I'm going on number 18 probably next week. So
Oh yeah. We literally just keep trying.
we just keep trying and eventually something sticks. And it's the fact that we keep trying too.
Hmm.
Like, because it's easy to just say, oh, this didn't work. I'm just never going to try again.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it, it's the emotional fortitude to keep going. This is still bothering me.
Yeah.
I want to do something about it. And this didn't work. Well, let me figure out what the next step looks like. And
Yeah.
it that's where like I know personally it took me a while to recognize that for myself of like it's because I care, it's because I want something to change that I keep going to therapy, that I keep
Hmm.
trying to make these things work, keep trying to find that next step forward for me. And
Yeah.
I'm definitely not one to give myself grace. Like with streaming, especially in content making, like if I miss a day that I was supposed to go ahead and work on a video or something, I don't do it, I'm gonna be pissed off at myself.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's taken a lot to even give me some grace of like, you know what? You've been kicking ass all week. You deserve at least a couple hours to just turn your brain off, play
Yeah.
Factorio and do whatever.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
But
It's all about
Lord, it
balance.
took a long time to get there.
Yeah, it's the reps. It is totally the repetition. Our brains are programmable, and we just have to do the work to program them to function the way that we want them to. And yeah, I mean, something that I talk about all the time is like it took you how many years of being alive to program your brain the way that is not serving you. How long do you think it's going to take to unlearn that and reprogram it? Like it's going to take the repetition. And yeah, there are two quotes that come to mind that to be the cliche therapist, it's like, oh, well, welcome to my motivational interview. We're going to have a conversation where I give you guys a pep talk. But no, the two quotes that like really blew my mind and I fall back on often is everything is a win when the goal is to experience. And accepting a negative experience is a positive experience.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to use the skill of what's called radical acceptance and just letting something be negative and letting that be and not banging your head against that wall and just recognizing like, okay, well, I guess this is here where I'm at. I have limited control over this thing. And what I can control is how I move with this. I mean, and that's kind of like what you were talking about is doing the reps of like, okay, I maybe went through an afternoon and didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, or I just don't have the spoons to. I budgeted my spoons poorly for the day. But what I can do is accept where I'm at and recognize that I need more time or I need a break or I need, X, Y, Z. So yeah, that in and of itself, even though you're not necessarily fixing the problem that you would see, you are accepting that you just have to pivot. And that's so much more beneficial than continuing to try to like strong arm a positive.
Absolutely. Yeah. The reframing I like to do similar to that thread is like, I only gave 30% today, like of what I wanted to get done. Well, if you only had 30% to give and you gave 30%, then you gave 100%.
It's 100%. Yeah, like, I agree.
That when I first had that come up to me, like I've still held on. I don't even remember how long ago I first heard that phrase, but it's one I've definitely keep coming back to because it's so true. Like there's some days you wake up and you want to go, hard press into everything. You want to get it all done. But when you wake up and you're like, I really don't want to do all 20 things I set out for myself. I can only get one or two. It's like, well, you set out to do those two things. You got it done. You did 100% of what you could.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely.
And it's just the reframing. You talk about reprogramming your brain to unlearn all these things and these new ones. It's those small reframings of things that you've been going through that really try to help you to see, wait, it's not as bad as I think. I'm still allowing myself to go, hey, I wanted to get more done, but I should be proud of myself of what I did get done instead of thinking about everything else that isn't done yet.
Yes, absolutely. Agreed. Absolutely. The version of mine is 10% is better than 0%. So I'm like, yep, you got a little something done. And I love the way that you put it. I'm gonna steal that and use that myself.
That's fine. I stole streamer ethics, so it's a fair trade, I
think. Fair indeed.
Fair indeed. The thing that I keep coming back to, and when it comes to just working on myself and my mental health, is that, and it's one of the biggest struggles I have, is that mental health is really a journey of what you're trying to accomplish. I'm definitely, and one of the behaviors I'm trying to unlearn that's been instilled to me from young that's contributed to my depression is what do you have to show for it? What's the end result of what you're putting forward that proves that what you've done is worth it? And seeing that there's really no end goal, or end result of taking care of yourself and your mental health, it's really focusing, well, the journey is the end result. I'm learning all these things that accumulate to me being in a better spot. Right. But I will never be at the spot where you go, I've won mental health. Here's my result of all my therapy.
Right, right.
And I feel like that's something that I personally, reframing it as a journey, is has helped me a lot. Do you feel like that's kind of a good way for people who might be struggling of like taking that first step of go like, well, you're not going to get that instant here, I've won, but instead
Yeah.
you're getting these steps to help you be better down the road.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think when it comes to trying to start anything, recognizing that starting anything is usually very clumsy and like ugly and challenging, and in order to be good at anything you kind of have to risk being bad at it first, and I think being willing to fail is the first part of learning any new skill. And I like seeing things rather than like I need to fix my mental health. I think that that is a very problematic mindset because it's not giving you full scope of how big that requirement is. Like as a person, people, we're all so complex, and there are so many layers of what we experience in a very broken and hurting world that I'm like, okay, to put the entire, I don't know, like the entire mission of fixing something that you didn't necessarily break, um, and have limited control over. I think that that's a really bad way to start. If anybody is like starting with that mindset, I would encourage you to try to be a little gentler and say, you know what, like I want to find more effective ways to help myself heal or help myself function or help myself enjoy life. I want to learn how to love being alive. And like, I think that anything that does not serve that purpose are the things that you can then say, okay, well, where did this come from? Is this something that I learned? Is this something that happened to me? Is this something that, just kind of exists passively in my environment? And then that's where you start pulling the threads. And
Mhm.
that's where therapy usually comes in. And it doesn't even have to be therapy. It can just be friends, like people who
Yeah.
know you and you trust to be honest. Um, like I know some people don't have access to therapy, and that's a lot of what I like. There are a lot of people in the community that I now have had the privilege of getting to know well. And it's really great because when they're having a day and they don't necessarily like need to have an emergency therapy appointment, but they're like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? I've been struggling with this lately. I now have insight to be able to help them pull that thread, and
Absolutely.
say like, oh, like this, have you thought about it this way? Or, like maybe this is what's going on, or maybe this is what's like activated in you that's like creating this discomfort. Um, but yeah, I think partializing things and making things bite-sized that's gonna help you in any endeavor. It's goes back to like the statement, like how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Like it's a
Who
big
says
task.
that? That's
It's one that
amazing.
I know it's one that we use a lot in therapy. Like
Okay.
it's just like this massive task that you're like, I don't know how this is gonna happen. It seems impossible. But yeah, it's truly just taking on things one tiny thing at a time. One way that Abso has talked on the server about doing this is like, I don't need, if the idea of getting up and doing my laundry is overwhelming to me, only focus on sitting up from wherever I am. Maybe I'm laying down. Okay, I don't need to go do all the laundry right now. I just need to sit up. And then once I sit up, then I can stand up. And then once I stand up, I can walk closer to wherever I have my clothes. And then like so on and so forth. Like I'm not going to look at the entire task at hand, because usually what happens, and this can relate to recovering your mental health, it can relate to a job, it can relate to a task. We don't, if it's the laundry, we're not thinking about, man, I've got to get up and I've got to throw my stuff in the laundry and I've got to put the put the detergent in and do all this. We're thinking about that, yes, but also, and then I'm going to have to switch it over to the dryer, and then I'm going to have to get that stuff in the basket, and then I'm going to have to bring it to my room, and then I'm going to have to fold all of the clothes and hang them up and put them away. Usually our issue is with the end part of the task, which
Right.
is the most annoying. And we allow that to stop us from starting because we just don't want to do what's 15 steps down the road. So I think that's a lot of it with like mental health too. If I want to fix this cycle or this behavior that's not serving me, I have to address whatever hurt or trauma created that in the first place. And I don't want to do that. That's uncomfortable. I don't want to
Yeah.
go there. So I think that that's a lot of what it is. But yeah, partializing things, like you said, like just looking at one step at a time in the journey is very, very, very helpful.
Absolutely. Because, yeah, when you start getting was it analysis paralysis or the
Yeah.
perfectionism that comes in of like, no, I've got to
Yeah.
do this perfectly and only one way is the right way to do it.
Yeah.
It stacks up and really convinces you to not do it, whether it's therapy or other things.
Yeah.
We can truly be our own worst enemy sometimes, and we just need to reframe it, figure it out. What's the best way to move forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
Like I know for me, like we talk about analysis paralysis, but
Mhm.
I've I absolutely love making videos, and there's so many times where like I'll come up with an idea and I'm like, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna record it, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, yada yada yada. I'm gonna set an end date to release this video. I'm gonna make sure I stick
Mhm.
to it. And then by second day, I've lost all that drive to go for it because all I see is this huge stack of tasks needed to get done.
Oh yeah.
And it just goes from, oh, it's just like a little partial step up to the ladder to now all of a sudden I'm looking up at the Matterhorn about to collapse on top of me. That would not be
Mhm.
good.
Yep. Nope. Absolutely not.
So definitely finding that right fit, finding that right process, and like figuring out how's the best way for me to view this to move forward is fantastic. And
Yeah.
I want to point out one thing that was said in the chat. Being
Mhm.
that we're gamers,
Mhm.
and a lot of people in chat right now play a lot of World of Warcraft. And this kind of goes into the next point too, is some people are having to get back and forth about, how you feel and how they're feeling and everything. But the one thing that was said was no gray parses allowed in life, boys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Um, so
So funny.
I love that because it talks a lot about, we're viewing our performance, we're seeing how we could do better. And for those who
Mhm.
review our Warcraft logs and how we play World of Warcraft, we don't like seeing the gray parse because that means we did
No.
something severely wrong. But that
Yep.
means, though, there's something that we can move forward from. And that kind of goes into this next topic is obviously we both are in the WoW communities.
Mhm.
We have a big spot in there, and it kind of touches on something you and the ladies were speaking in your last Sperry session of just like how
Mhm.
gaming has impacted our lives and everything. How as both in professional view and your own personal one, how does gaming usually find a role in your journey to find or learn more about oneself? Like, because
Yeah.
we all know the stigmatism is gaming's a waste of time and all this stuff, but
Yeah.
for those of us that are in gaming, we see more than just the game. We see like the community and everything like that. So I guess
Mhm.
where does your thoughts lie on something as simple as the topic of gaming's role in finding yourself?
Oh my gosh, I think that it's monumental. I look at gaming, especially things that are community based and multiplayer like WoW as the lab to life. Like this is the safe place to practice skills that in the real life equivalent may have what seem like very overwhelming and dire consequences. So what I mean by that is it's helping improve distress tolerance and endurance, like trying to grind content over and over and over again. I'm thinking specifically of rating, where you're just like, ugh, I have to do this again for the millionth time with the same group of people that now I'm a little aggy with because somebody
Just
like
stand
messed up
out
with
of the
me with something
fire.
mechanic.
Just get out of
Yeah,
the
exactly.
fire.
Just get out of the swirls. It's fine. But I think that Well, first and foremost, I think what Hunter said is very important. Time you enjoyed wasting isn't wasted time. I think that that is for sure something that's important
True.
to use as a disclaimer here. But I think that there are also incredibly important reps that can be done in game. So the distress tolerance is one where you are, well, it can be distress tolerance or like frustration threshold. So like it is so necessary to be uncomfortable and to practice failing things so that you can get a tolerance for that, basically, so that you can build resilience. And sometimes there aren't the best ways to do that in real life.
Hmm.
So games help provide a good like outlet for that. I also think practicing hard conversations with people that you don't have to be face to face with. I think that that's a good start for people that have social anxiety or who struggle just like putting things together, you know, like getting the reps in of being able to talk when you're in your lizard brain or when you're feeling hurt or when you're feeling like, oh, I'm not sure if this is accurate or not. Like, I don't know if I'm seeing this as it actually is playing out or if I'm, you know, struggling in my own self-perception, my own biases and blah, blah, blah. So I think that that part is very, very important. It's a lab to allow you to practice certain skills that are necessary for life. I also think we had touched on this. I think I don't remember when this conversation came up, if it was in a Sperry session or if it was on like a table talk with Ma. But we talked about how sometimes you're trying to figure out who you are and the role that you play. Not necessarily the role like tank healer or DPS, but
Hmm.
like genuinely what qualities feel most like you. And so I think that when you have like an RPG, you're able to really like experiment with different identity like markers or qualities. Like especially if you're I know that like Goldshire on Moonguard gets a really saucy rep.
Yes, it
But I
does.
think that aside from all the debauchery that exists there, like I have a Moonguard tune and
Oh, everybody does.
and I was like introduced to the Total RP add-on, and obviously that's used for some things that I don't, you know, personally engage in, but I think it's a really beautiful way to experiment with the storytelling of your life and of your character and how to piece that together. And I think people really struggle with that, especially people that are told who they are from the moment they enter this world. And I'm trying really hard not to do that to my daughter outside of like, hey, like you are kind, like you're generous, like you're smart, you're you know, you have resilience, like you can figure this out, you're capable. Like I tell her those things, but I'm not like, hey, by the way, this is your favorite color, this is what
Right.
you like to eat, this is your favorite show. Like I'm not telling her who she is, but some people don't have the space to figure that out freely. Like I have a lot of clients, I have some friends, I've heard some stories of people from the moment they arrive on this planet, they have a character that they're expected to play. And I think that for those people specifically, games like WoW are a beautiful space to explore who feels more authentic to who they are, what actually feels like is present in their spirit, you know, like who what their I know I'm getting like very like songbirdy with this one. I can't help it. Austin brained woman, but like what their song sounds like, really,
Yeah.
like not the one they've been forced to play. And I think that that's anytime you have the space to do that, do it. Like experiment, learn, be curious, you know, be around people that let you try on different hats to see what makes the most sense. And it explores what strengths you may not recognize you have. Like maybe you're actually really good at organizing, and maybe you're really good at like corralling chickens like that are trying to raid together. Maybe you're
Yes.
really good at communicating under pressure and making like calls that need to happen quickly. But yeah, like you may recognize in game that you have skills you never knew that you had. And so I think that that's really good. And then outside of WoW, there also are, I think that that translates to all different games. And I think that there also can be like I'm thinking about just base level like hand-eye coordination or like your
Oh,
analytical skills
absolutely.
and like brain games. Like there are reasons why people will recommend certain brain games to the aging mind. So yeah, there's a long list of ways that video games prove helpful to understanding self and understanding your skills and growing those skills.
So you hear that, Grandma? We're going to help your brain by getting you to play some Fortnite.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I resonate so much with like you talk about corralling people and learning like skills you didn't know you have. There's so many
Yeah.
times where I'm in my meetings with my officers, just catching up and figuring out where we're going to go next and everything like that. Or a situation comes up where I've got to go the HR response and handle something. That like I will organize, all of our players. I will review the data. I will give suggestions on where to improve, handle the HR stuff, and then I'll message my officer and I'll go. And it's crazy how all my applications for manager's positions say I don't have enough experience. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
I'm literally doing better than most of the managers I've had in roles before in my life,
Yep.
and yet
Yep.
I gotta find a way to be able to type "Wild Guild Leader" on my
Yes.
resume in some way that people don't go, "What a fucking loser."
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh, get a load of this guy.
Get a load of this guy. He plays games. What a weirdo. But
Oh
but at
man,
the
it's
same
so
time,
funny.
it's true. Like you talk about like other games helping teach stuff, and there's gaming is itself, and you know since the days of Pong and all that stuff, it's so expanded into so many different genres, subgenres, artistic styles, and everything that like everybody, much like anything else, uh, there's something that's better suited for other people, for
Mhm.
individuals, and there's always something that they learn from that.
Yeah.
And whether it is teaching a real life skill or just resonating with, hey, I didn't know this about myself that I really like this type of say storyline, and it's inspiring me to take up trying to draw something in response to that I didn't even know I could draw or anything
Right.
like that. Right?
Right.
I think I want to say a couple months ago, somebody was in my chat while I was playing, like, "Hey, why do you play tank?" Because
Right.
I've branded myself WoW's okay as tank. I only really play
Mhm.
tank characters. Why do you like playing tank? And I thought about it. I was like, the easy answer is like, oh, I just like the role in WoW. But I thought about it, and it's like I like playing tank because it gets me in a position where I can help others show off their capabilities and be successful. Like
Right.
being
Right.
able to dive in, say, get all the threat from the mobs, and allows my teammates to really boost their numbers and help them be successful by leading the way and keeping them out of harm's way.
Right.
That's what I like doing. And like even thinking about it, was like that's why I played offensive lineman for football, not just because I was a big guy and I could beat the hell out of anybody in front of me, but because I liked protecting my quarterback.
Yeah.
I liked being the guy on the front lines, keeping the other guys who had the capabilities to make big plays safe so that we could win as a team. Same
Yeah.
with why I played defense in lacrosse. It's, I'm protecting my guys to make sure that they can be successful.
Mhm.
And wasn't until actually answering that question where I've had that realization of going, oh shit, I've been like this well before I started playing WoW, back in
Yeah.
Lich King. It makes sense why I'm like this. And
Mhm. It's actually, oh, sorry to interrupt.
you're fine.
I I just talking about all of like the content ideas that you have, I have something coming up that I have been hashing out, and that's like basically like the personality like qualities and archetypes of each like dungeoner role, and everything that you're saying is like tanking and why that stuck out to you and why you enjoy it. It's so funny because yeah, you'll just have to see. It'll be out soon, and it'll be
That's fine.
very
Just
funny
send me
'cause
my royalty check for, promoting
yes,
it here,
exactly.
and we'll be good.
It's just so funny. I'm like, ooh, some people's feelings are going to be hurt when I put this out here, but it's fine. No big deal. It's good for them.
That reminds me of Ma's Wow Restaurant put up an Instagram post recently of like all
Oh,
the
the
wow
dog
classes about
breeds.
dogs. And I
Yes.
saw her first one and I told her, she was in my chat and I was like, I was looking for the warrior, wasn't there? And she's like, oh, I'm already working on the second one that has the warrior. And then she
Yes.
put it up there and I was
Yeah.
like, I want to be mad,
But
but it's
no,
so true. And I feel like that's going to be what happens when I go in and watch your video or whatever it is that you're making, of just like,
yeah.
it's going to say, tanks do this. And I'm going to be like, that son of a bitch, she's right.
Oh, I know. It's so honestly, like equating the warriors to a chihuahua was brilliant on her part, honestly.
I was expecting like some big burly, like, Rottweiler, some beefy dog, and it just being a
Yep.
chihuahua. And I'm like, what is this? And then I read everything on there. I'm like,
Oh,
God
it was so good.
damn it.
Read you to filth. She did. Yep.
It's I have been typecasted is what I've
Yes.
been, and I can't be mad. I put myself in that box.
It's so funny. Adding to the importance of games, I just don't want to forget this too that I'm thinking of, because the ADHD, I gotta try to lasso this star.
I don't know what
But
HD is, but I got 80 of them.
80 of them things. Yeah. I was thinking something that comes back to every single client that I work with. As an adult client, I don't work with a lot of kids. I prefer not to because child therapy is really challenging. But
I can only imagine.
yeah, I will say it is very, very important that we all learn how to play again, because that's what a lot of mental illness like takes from you as an adult. And I don't think it necessarily takes it from you. I think if we can hold on to our imaginative play and our joy of play and our practice of play, a lot of the things that contribute to mental health breakdowns or diagnoses or like challenges that people suffer from, I think that definitely it's like a lost art because we don't prioritize it as adults. It's like, okay, yeah, you play when you're a kid and then you work when you're an adult. And I also recognize like the stance, the very privileged stance that I have, because like it's not fair for me to be like, oh yeah, you can't pay your bills, you just got to play, baby.
Yeah.
But like I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like continue the pursuit of play and continue the pursuit of fun. I like drive this home with my couples, and one of the degenerates in chat will say something about that, I'm sure. But no, like genuinely like pursuing fun and learning to play. I try to enter into like baby Sperry's world when she is playing with me, and I'm like, yeah, this is what we're meant to be doing. Like we're meant to, as humans, like do more than just pay bills and die, like that's not what life is supposed to look like for us. We're supposed to be creating, and we're supposed to be inventing, and we're supposed to be playing, and we're supposed to be doing all that kind of stuff. That's what our brains, these beautiful machines, are built for. And the way that we have structured society is what's making us sick. So I don't have the miracle way to fix all of the systemic issues that we have, but I will say the individual thing that you can do to change what your day looks like is pursue whimsy, relearn how to play, and give yourself permission to have fun even when stressors are happening around you. Like it goes such a long way. That's why I really like what Hunter said. Like time you enjoyed wasting isn't wasted time. It's an investment into yourself.
Absolutely. And like I've seen firsthand the account of like, just you're an adult, you're working as many hours as you can, maybe more than you should, and just making that your entire personality. It takes a toll on the things that make you more than just the work you output, make you more than just the paycheck that comes in. And you mentioned it being a systemic issue because Lord knows when, me personally, when I try to take a step away from that and go, I have extra time in the day. I want to make that time to do these hobbies or do these things that, I am I getting anything out of directly other than my happiness? No, but I want to do it because it makes me feel better. Just
Hmm.
hard focusing on work or how the next bill is going to be paid, just it takes a toll on you mentally. And
Yeah,
it
it
really
really
brings
does.
down, it sours relationships. It makes the world look a little less bright because
Hmm.
you're not getting to see everything else the sun is shining on.
Right, right.
And
Agreed.
it and it sucks to still see, especially for people you care about, to see them go down that path because you want to help them. You want to be like, hey, you are more than this.
Hmm.
But at the same time, if they don't want to change that, they're not going to change that, and you can't force somebody to change if they don't want to. Because
Very true.
that's the biggest thing is like I know you could be happier, but if you're fine where you're at, I'm not going to put that
Hmm.
effort to try to help you.
Yeah.
But just don't be pissed at me later when you're like, oh, you should have helped me. It was like, well, I fucking was trying to,
I tried my hardest, friend. I did.
and you kicked me to the curb last time I tried. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
I threw you a rope and you spit at me for not picking you up.
what can you do? So
Hmm.
it's the whole idea of play, whether it's games or outside or what, just ever, even
Hmm.
if it's just, even if your idea of play is just getting to watch somebody be an idiot on some live reality show and
Yeah.
enjoying that with friends or something like that, it makes a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. Use your imagination.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
get some fresh air, touch grass, all the basics, 100%.
The touch grass thing is still one of my favorite things in just gaming. Is just like oh, you're fine, just go touch some grass. And
Yeah, like ultimately we're just glorified houseplants. Like just give us some
true.
water, sunlight,
Are,
occasionally a scrap to eat. We'll be all right.
are you familiar with the trading cards that were made for VTubers recently? V Card, I think it's called.
No.
So there's a bunch of, I think it's through Gamer Subs. There's a bunch of like partnered creators that have like VTuber cards now, or like VTuber adjacent people that have cards in this trading card game. And one of them, Heavenly Father, fantastic creator. One of his cards, like his base card, says, "Man, I should really go touch grass." But then his full art card is him outside, and he said, "Nah, I'm gonna go back and play more COD."
Yeah.
And it's just so good, the callback to it of just like, yeah, no, maybe I should do that. Nah, that was a bad idea. That was
Yeah, no,
awful.
I didn't do that. I didn't want to do that.
Oh my god, it's so funny. And the cards themselves, not to go on a full tangent on this, and this is not an ad or sponsored hashtag
Oh
yet.
no. Follow that train of thought. I'm interested.
But like it's so funny because like there's so many that like if you're not familiar with the VTubers that are in the pack, some of the cards are like, what the hell is this stuff? Like I
Right.
think one of them, Froggy Lock, she's got a card that's named after her community called the Froglodites.
Oh
And
my gosh.
it's so funny. But of course, the other thing is like it's VTubers, so a lot of these are very lewdly drawn. And some
Oh, I'm
people get
sure.
way too excited and, looking respectfully, of course, at all these
Right.
cards and their value.
Right.
But no, it's hilarious. And some of these cards are just so dang funny.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh, that's
but that's
hilarious.
why I'm reminded of the touch grass one because it just I remember seeing a creator pull those and just seeing the callback to it. I'm like, yep, that's 90% of us gamers are like, okay, fine, I'll go touch grass. Wait, why the fuck did I do this?
Yeah, like why did absolutely not. This is
Who
terrible.
recommended this
Zero out of
idea? This
10.
is awful.
Dude, do not recommend. Oh, sorry, my dogs.
You're fine.
Lola, it's okay.
Which, speaking of your dog, I know we talked about before the show. I just want to say again, I'm very thankful to hear that your puppy is doing okay. I know
Oh my gosh.
you
Yeah.
do you want to tell them what you discovered?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, dogs and toddlers, man, they definitely give you a run for your money. Yeah, so I have the dumbest doodle in the world. He's got one brain cell in his big fat head, and he loves to eat anything he's not supposed to. So for anybody who doesn't know, I was in the emergency vet hospital until about, let's see, what time? I think they sent us out of there. I was there from like 4:30 yesterday afternoon until like 11:30 last night, and then it's an hour away from where I live. So I was a little bit concerned because anybody who has a dog that likes to eat things they're not supposed to knows the signs of a bowel obstruction. It's very scary. And he was like drooling a lot, and he was not having good luck with like going to the bathroom, getting anything out. And then he started to vomit. And I was like, okay, it's time to take you in. We're not messing around. We're just going straight to the hospital. And so we did that and then waited for quite some time, and they're quick with it. They're like, just so you know, it'll be like a 4 to 6 hour wait, and it'll be a $500 to $700 bill at least. You know, that's before we do any additional measures or anything like that, any additional treatments or surgeries. I'm like, yeah, great. So, all that to say, we did find out that he has what we suspect are a missing section of one of our throw blankets in his colon. It made it through his intestines, really great, so we don't need surgery. And we found a new thing that we now have to keep away from him, add it to a very long list of cloth-based objects in this house. So yeah, I was planning initially on being on video today, and then I was like, I think I'm gonna give myself a break. I'm not gonna try to get camera ready. I'm just gonna go spend some time with my toddler this morning and take it slow, because I was very tired. But I think he's a big part of stream.
I think that what that means is you just got to stop buying these bacon flavored throw blankets, and
literally
the dog will be fine.
I didn't realize I got the delicious kind of cotton, but here we are.
Who spilled bacon grease all over this blanket to get the dog excited? No, I was go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying I believe he's in it for the long con. I think he's smarter than he lets us all believe, and he's doing it so that he can get the chicken and rice diet instead of his kibble. He was like, for my next trick, I'm gonna make this section of blanket disappear and make you all panic, and then you'll have to feed me delicious treats.
Oh no, my stomach's empty. Feed me better food. Oh no. I should try that strat. Why haven't I thought of that? That's crazy. Right. But no, I'm very happy to hear, because I came across your TikTok post of your Discord message that you were at the hospital. I'm very happy to hear that the dog's doing well. And
thank you.
Doodle brain, or whatever you call it there. The dumbest doodle, I think.
Yeah, he is the dumbest doodle. But we love him, it's worth it. I mean, this is on a more somber note. I said this a couple times yesterday, but like, I was really annoyed at first, and then I saw the hospital doctors return the body of somebody's dog, and they were sobbing, and I was like, oh, actually, I'm really glad that my problems are so small.
Yeah.
All I'm out is some time and some money, but my dog's alive, and like, I can't imagine what that must feel like. Like, I saw, you're sitting in the hospital, in the emergency vet hospital, with other people who are there for a whole litany of reasons, and I'm like, man, my problems just aren't big. They're very small. And I think that's another reason why it's important to, unfortunately, sometimes see the suffering of our peers, so that we have the gift of perspective, because it's like, man, I want to help shoulder this for other people. I also am very grateful that this is not the thing that I'm experiencing right now. And at some point, if and when that day comes, I'll have people to lean on as well. So that definitely helped me gain a little perspective. I was like, man, I can't imagine.
Well, you also had a recent thing of gaining perspective on Mother's Day, if I recall correctly, too. So, man, you got a double dose of perspective really quickly there.
Oh my gosh, it's just been like, I will say it's definitely been quite a few weeks. Oh my gosh. I would say like a couple months of just things thinking, lifing.
You should be good for the rest of the year at this point.
I know.
We can only hope.
when my therapist actually, she was like, it's really out of the ordinary for people to experience such immense bouts of loss all at once. She was like, you're really going through it. She's like, and I've seen some stuff. And I'm like, Inga, who are you telling? Like, I know. I know.
You're just like, thanks, I guess. Put me on the leaderboard. Cool. What
I'm
of
like,
it?
can you sedate me? I don't know. I would love that.
Can I just skip till Christmas? Like, is that a thing? Can we
Yeah,
do?
I just want to hibernate, I think. But no, I definitely am like there's one of those again, I'm full of quotes. The cheesy quote is like, I'm very thankful for a soft heart that still breaks, you know, like there are people who have just really shut themselves off to heartache as a defense mechanism. And as heavy a burden as it is, like I am very grateful for the compassion that I still experience and the fact that I am still, you know, my life motto is thick skin, soft heart. And the fact that, you know, my heart still is soft and able to be broken for people that I care about and all of that stuff. And I still experience empathy and all of that stuff. I think it's worth it to have the hard days, to still have that as a gift in the world that we live in today, because it's really a precarious way to live in a really sketchy world sometimes, to be vulnerable like that.
See, it's funny the way you describe it, and you know, this beautiful thing of like, you know, it helps me to be grounded and all this stuff. And I hear like, yeah, no, the bad days are there to make sure my ego doesn't get too big. Absolutely.
Right.
Like when I start getting too big of a head on my shoulders, the world just goes, no, come back down.
No, we're gonna knock you down a couple of pegs.
Oh my goodness. It's, you know, sometimes we need that, sometimes we don't, but we can't really control it. The world spins and we can't stop it for even a minute.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. And it's funny too, because like, not funny, I guess is the word, but I also similarly had a perspective of that with an animal hospital. A couple of weeks ago, there was a kitten we found, and we're like, we didn't know who it belonged to. It was supposed to snow that night. So we took it to one of those 24-hour clinics to see if it had like a chip. It had like a necklace, or on its collar, it had like a QR code that wasn't registered yet. So we're like, okay, we got to go get it checked in, make sure, see if it's shipped and see what's going on. Yeah. And while they were back there getting checked, they had something on their reception desk where it was, you know, an electric candle, and it said, if this is lit, please be quiet. Somebody's saying goodbye. And just that hits you of like, oh my goodness. Like, cause you don't think about it. Like
you just don't.
You don't, whether it's an animal hospital or for lack of better, my brain went human hospital, which just makes me sound like an idiot.
No, but I can't think of a better word for it.
Can't think of a better word other than just saying hospital. It's a human hospital.
We're sharing the same brain cell, I think. So
it happens. Usually that's what happens whenever I have somebody on the show. Eventually we just reduce down to a single brain cell. And by the end of the show, it's smoking, ready to just be put out of its misery.
Exactly.
But like those moments where like you have the perspective, like, okay, I'm going in for this stuff. And you don't think of like, hey, there's a room up here. Somebody's probably going through the worst time in their life. Yeah. And like, I'm just frustrated. I got to get blood drawn or something like that. Yeah,
exactly.
It's that perspective that helps, again, like a better phrase, ego check us of like, you've got this, you can do it. This sucks. It absolutely sucks. And it's not a way of like saying, oh, other people have it worse than you, but like acknowledging two things are shit.
Yep.
But you could still move forward from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Comparison is definitely one of like the worst things to have to get your mind rolling with, of like, oh, I should just brush this off. It's not the worst thing that could be happening. Well, you say that, then you deny yourself the thought of what you're actually going through and acknowledging it and working through it.
Yeah, like it's all experience. It's all important. And yeah, I think like having a general curiosity for one another is a really important thing. And I think, you know, people become jaded, people become hurt. There are a lot of reasons. Like, I know there are a few like, oh, I hate everyone, people in the crowd. And this isn't a criticism on that, but I think that people get burnout interacting with other people because of all of the layers that we're forced to carry and like
Yes.
navigate. But I think having a genuine curiosity for other people's experience can be really helpful to unpacking your own. And there's a term called Sonder, and that's like basically the idea or the phenomenon of recognizing that every single person on this planet is living an equally intricate and deep story as your own. And I was actually just talking about this with my therapist as well, and I'm like, I cannot help trying to put myself literally like experience an entire lifetime in one interaction with people. And sometimes I'm not even interacting with them. I will completely daydream a lifeline of a stranger that I see on, the side of the road and like imagining their life and all of that stuff. And I'm genuinely curious. I've said it a million times on my stream. Like I'm genuinely curious about like people's stories. That's why I like to listen to them. That's why I like the Sperry sessions. That's why I like stuff like this, because I like to hear about people. And I think we're so caught up in the work, in the hustle, that we're not slowing down to hear each other or to get curious about that stuff anymore. It's like, if you are not adding value to my life right now, or if I'm not able to add value to yours, depending on what I feel I need to contribute, like I just don't have time for it. And so stuff like this is so awesome, because like we're intentionally carving out time in our day to just have a conversation.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's such an important contribution, I think.
So do you think that genuine curiosity that you have is like what kind of led you down the path to becoming a therapist originally? Or I guess that was a question I was going to ask you at the start of the show, and I guess I never got to it, of just like, how did you get into, becoming a social worker and everything like that?
I don't think I ever really stood a chance to not be. So I kind of like, to be honest, I come from a long line of therapists. My grandparents all were social workers
Gotcha.
on my mom's side. And my mom, she didn't go the social work route, but she absolutely could have. She's using the same skill set in, public service. And if anybody is interested in her story, my first Sperry session was with her. She spent some time in the military, Sperry. And yeah, we love Sister Sperry. She's the best.
Absolutely love Sister Sperry.
Actually, everybody, if you could be thinking about her this week, she has this huge conference keynote that she's booked for in our area on Wednesday. So she's a little nervous. She's navigating a lot of her own stressors and some health issues as she's preparing for this. So yeah,
just proving once again how much of a badass that she is.
She literally is. I'm like, you are the coolest person I've ever met in my entire life. She is, and she won awards for grenade throwing. Like, come on, man, she's the coolest. That's
incredible.
She's in the sphere of public service still. And then my aunt is a teacher. And so she's also working with people and could easily be a therapist. But yeah, I don't think I ever really could have escaped it. I think I've worked a lot with like the balance of wanting to be invisible. Like I don't want to be perceived. It's exhausting, the idea of being perceived, which is why I just kind of like cut myself a little bit of break. And I was like, I'm just going to go, cam free today.
For sure.
But at the same time, like I want everybody else to learn to love being perceived and to feel confident and to feel incredible. And like, if I could just disappear and make the person that I'm talking to be like eclipse everything else, that is what I hope to give people, is that every person I interact with feels like the most important, the most interesting person ever, like that's what I want. But it's so uncomfortable for me to be on the receiving end of that, which I think would surprise some people. But
at the same time, it's what's the phrase of like, oh, the mechanic doesn't have the best car. type
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
of course you want everybody else to, perceived as the best version of yourself, and you're just like, no, get the spotlight off me, which
Yes, no, I
is
hate
also
it.
hilarious that you went into streaming too,
Yeah.
knowing that in your mind.
I know. Well, so part of streaming was the mental health, like the community that I was hoping for,
Yeah.
that we talked about in the beginning. But there are also a couple like personal things. Like I really struggle with chameleoning, and with kind of like taking on the, I guess like the texture of the people around me. And
Okay.
it's very hard for me to, I've really struggled with not just blending in and becoming whatever people needed me to become. And I'm like, man, I really like, it's about time I figure out who the heck I am at the root of it all. And I knew that on a camera with nobody else around to distract for a few hours at a time, I'm like, I can't keep up a charade for that long. And I ultimately, I'm not being led by other people because I can read chat, but I'm not necessarily like listening to other people's cadence or seeing their qualities come through. So I figured this was kind of the best way for me to practice my own exposure therapy of like, no, girl, like you're on your own, use your own personality, don't borrow somebody else's. And so, like, that has been huge. That's been so huge. And I don't even think like the Sperry Squad or my Twitch viewers or the people on my socials, I don't even think that they recognize how much they've helped me in that way of just like giving me a space and like giving me the lab to explore what
Sure.
that looks like. Yeah.
Well, what was it? With Abso, I believe you mentioned that, the
Mhm.
perception of, you've got all this together, and you're like, no, I had to brute force my
I,
way and baptism by
yes.
fire myself to overcome
Yes.
these things. And,
Yes.
everybody, again, they see the end product, they see you on camera and you're talking, and you're like, oh, she's been doing this for a year, but it seems like she's been doing this for multiple years. So why would I think that she's not comfortable doing this?
Easy peasy.
When in fact, waist down, you're just shaking in your boots the entire time whenever the camera's on you.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm
It
just
def
like, "Ugh."
and streaming too, like you hit the nail on the head of just like becoming comfortable it just being with yourself in a way. Because everybody starts out, you've got an empty chat. It's never, people spamming in there, talking
Mhm.
conversations back and forth. It's most of
Right.
the time, it's just the quick bot saying, hey, best viewers at this website, and then they get instantly banned.
Yep.
So
Yep.
being able to have that conversation with yourself and in a way have that imaginative play with yourself
Mhm.
of, hey, I'm just doing this, I'm putting on the show for me essentially,
Right.
and building off of that. It's why, like, whenever somebody comes to me like talking about streaming and stuff, like, hey, I thought about it, could be this, I'm like, just have fun with it. Like, if you're gonna do
Mhm.
it, don't go in there saying, oh, I could do this and this and I'll be really funny and people will like that. It's like, that's gonna be the wrong way to go about it. You
Yeah.
got to find a way
It's
to
so
do it for
fun.
you.
Mhm.
There was a creator I used to watch years ago when he explained why he got into streaming and content creation in the beginning. That
Mhm.
sticks with me and resonates with me is like he was looking for the certain type of content he knew he would like to enjoy on like YouTube and stuff, but he couldn't find it. He was like, "There's nothing that
Mm.
really hit at home with what the stuff I wanted to watch, so I'm
Right.
just gonna make it." You know, and
Yeah.
it's a thing of like, you know, if I'm making this content, it's at least going to be funny to me. It's going to be
Right.
stuff I
Exactly.
enjoy.
Yeah.
Half of the videos I've made and put on TikTok, I've put up there because I've watched it 3 or 4 times and I still laugh at it every single time.
Right.
Like, as long
Exactly.
as I laugh at it, it doesn't matter if other people do. I think this is a dumb joke and I love it. I've got
Right.
my intro screen I do for my regular streams where it's just like the clip montage and everything. And I've had that for maybe 5 months now with some slight adjustments this month. And I'm still laughing hysterically at the same 2 or 3 jokes that I put on,
Right.
5 times a week for the past 5 months. It's like, it's still making me laugh. That's all that matters.
Yes. Exactly. Agreed.
So going into streaming,
Enjoy your own content.
exactly. But going into it of like, oh, I'm going to be the next burnt peanut, even though we've seen what's going on with the person imitating peanut with
Mhm.
all that fun stuff out there.
Mm.
It's just like you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah.
get in your head.
No.
You're gonna get the perfectionism, you're going to get the imposter syndrome, you're going to get all this stuff, and it's going to take its damn toll. It's never going to go away, but it's going to be at the forefront. That's for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And it's not going to be, it's like, people like authenticity, and like it's not going to feel like you. Like it's going to feel like somebody else. So it's like, man, just do your own thing.
Oh God, that's the biggest thing. And like Ash, my mod in chat, I more or less bullied her into streaming starting a couple weeks ago, or starting back up to streaming. She streamed before, and I more or less bullied her into doing it. And like even after that, I'm like, oh, listen, I know I kind of forced you to turn on your stream, and like my pushing you to do this stuff. Just want to make sure you want to do this, right? Like you don't have to. I was a big, as she just said in chat, big fucking bully. But you want to do this, right? And she's like, no, like I've been thinking about it, wanting to do it again. I'm like, okay, good. Thank goodness, because I would feel like a dick if I just said, go turn your shit on right now. But no, it's been fun.
Exactly. I thought I was being helpful.
I thought I was helping you out.
I was forcing you. Causing you great emotional unrest.
Yeah, but now everybody in my chat goes, I'm going to go to mom's stream whenever Ash is streaming it at the same time I am. So it's like, oh, cool. I lost the kids in the divorce.
Right. They all picked her.
That's fine. She's funnier than me. But
oh my gosh. I got to go follow her now.
But that comes back to like the imaginative, the stuff we want to do, the stuff we go over. It's like you really have to find that in yourself, of the things you enjoy, to make yourself really feel that betterness. I guess is the word. Yeah. But like, fuck, I realized a couple weeks ago, like my 9-year affiliate anniversary is next month. And I still keep coming back to it. I know. I keep loving doing it. I love doing this shit. All the times in my life where like I've wanted to, you talk about knowing something you're going to do, right? Like you couldn't escape it. When I first came across, early days of YouTube and stuff, like I was like, damn, this is for me. Like this is not only like the stuff I like doing, making videos, it's gaming, but there's this whole other like culture behind it and like network of people working on this stuff. That's so cool. Yeah, and no matter how many times where like I've had to, do that buckle down, focus on the paycheck work and like only focus on that, I kept coming back to, I want to do this. It's just in me to want to come back and do it, because it fills not only the need for me to express myself and be a part of this, but also to like, it's that true to yourself that you talk about. And it really does make a huge effect and cascading effect on your entire mental health when you get to do the stuff that you want to do.
Yeah, agreed.
It's a huge game changer. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And I'm very happy that within the past year that I've got to see your content and see the stuff you've been doing, because it's been fantastic. I'm very thankful for the times you've included me in both the outfit runway show as well as our Christmas, where I was brutally attacking Mr. Sperry over and over with snowballs.
Oh my
Actually, gosh, I think I hit Amy more than I did Mr. Sperry. It probably to the point of bullying. That was in fact bullying.
That was hilarious. Oh my gosh.
It was so good. And then we got the picture of me with my arm, like the lean emote over Amy.
It was so good.
And her demon hunter horns are going through my arm. It was worth it in the end.
Yeah, no, it was so good. That was such a fun time. I'm like, this is what we're meant to be doing. Like, we're all adults and we're having a freaking snowball fight in a virtual world. Like, yes.
It's great.
And peak choice of willpower, or of free will.
It's great. Like, I keep coming back to it, like thinking of like my parents when I was younger. Like, all you do is play games, and I'm like, what? You want me going doing drugs? What the hell do you want me to be doing?
Could be a lot worse.
I know what you did when you were my age. This is better. Trust me.
Yeah. There are very few real life consequences for the things that I'm doing. All of my debauchery is contained.
Yeah, the worst thing I do is brick a key. The worst thing you did was get a DUI. Let's be honest.
Right. Exactly. So mind your neck.
I just want to clarify. I'm not insinuating my parents ever got a DUI. I'm just saying it could have been. That's all.
Yes, 100%.
This is for legal reasons. This is not liable slander. I promise you. Hi, mom or dad, if you're watching. But no, I'm very happy to have gotten to see your content over the past year. I know, like you said, you've had a crazy couple of months that's kind of kept you from it. But even seeing that episode, like I said, of Sperry Sessions come back after, because I remember watching the one with Sister Sperry live, which was such a fun time. Everybody was so excited to see Sister Sperry.
Yeah.
Which is just hilarious. And she was a champ on there too. Like she
did really well. She did.
It was like,
and we do have a channel redeem if anybody ever is able to accrue 250,000 channel points for a Sperry change. We do have a Sister Sperry Plays WoW redeem. But that one, goodness. That one is going to have to be very expensive. She's got a busy schedule.
I can imagine. I also have a very expensive one where if somebody gets 1,000,000 points, I stop the stream. So,
oh my gosh.
I've had some people say they're saving up for it, but I probably won't see that for a while, and I will own up to it. If they redeem that, I will absolutely say, okay, bye, and turn it off.
Oh my gosh. That the control enthusiast in me would have some things to deal with to do that.
But see, this is where I also mess with them because I do have a random sound alert that people like to gamba on. And they waste all of their points on that, so they'd never get there. As much as Ash is saying she's coming for the 1 million, she's one of the biggest spenders of the random sound redeem. So my plan is working.
Yes, exactly.
I know my audience.
All of your Monopoly money here.
Exactly. The Welgo bucks or whatever the heck I have them called. I don't even remember now.
Yeah. But I always continue to say channel points, even though I thought it was very clever that I named them Sperry Change.
That is so good.
Yeah. I'm like, channel points. That's just going to have to be what it is because I can never remember.
I think mine are called Welgo points or something. I used to have something that was like clever, and I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is.
But now I've got to look. Welgo points. Yeah. Welgo points. That's what it is.
Listen, the Welgo points don't matter. What really matters, I wish people would stop saying, is only Welgos. That's the biggest thing in the end. Gory is the biggest offender of that. He really wants the only Welgos content. I don't know why. But
he's all over it. He is the champion degenerate among the stream community, I think.
Every time I show up in your chat, he immediately goes, show the Welgussy. And I'm like, why?
Show the Welgussy. Oh my God.
And it's because of him with that and a couple other bad faith actors, I'm going to say. I'll say bad faith actors. That one of my mods boosted my Discord server just to make our Discord tag Welgussy.
Welgussy, I know. I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, they're in it for the long haul. Like they're committed to the bit.
My guild bullies me for being a streamer, and my own mods bully me for being a streamer. So
yep.
It is
good for a character.
Sure. Yes. It's more, if anything, it's making my therapist more money is what it comes down to.
Exactly.
And you're being okay with it just means that you're there for big therapy. That's all I'm going to say.
I am. Okay. Well, let's move the conversation away from big therapy. No, mental illness is real, everyone.
It is real.
Problems. Anyway, move on.
It is good that we talk about these things because, gosh, I'm dead. Big therapy is crazy, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody ask any more questions about big therapy and we're going to be fine.
To the FBI agents listening in on this call, we are not talking about big therapy. I promise you.
We're not talking about big therapy. I intentionally drove the topic elsewhere. So just, write that down.
Just write it down. My contribution to the cause.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think, we're coming up on the end of the 2-hour marks we usually do for the show. But before we get going, again, just thank you for coming on. This has been a blast having you. It's been fantastic. And for those who might not know, where can they find you? Where can they find your content and everything?
Yeah, well, thank you so much again. I agree. This has been such a fun conversation. I enjoy stuff like this, as you can probably tell, very, very
Not at
much.
all.
This is such a good time for me. But yeah, if anybody is interested in finding me, I am Sperry Streams on all socials. Lucky for me, Sperry was already taken on Twitch when I thought about streaming, and so I just did Sperry Streams, which is available across every platform. So yeah, it should be pretty easy to find me. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, just made an X or a Twitter, depending on, which generation you are. And of course, Twitch, TikTok, all of that good stuff. So if you have an idea of where you would try to find me and you type in Sperry Streams and you don't find me, then I don't exist there yet. So yeah, I appreciate just the opportunity to come and yap with you for a little bit and talk about all the things that I'm passionate about and all that stuff. So
Absolutely.
much appreciated. I think this is great.
This is fantastic. Like I said, I knew who I wanted to have as like my first big guest, and that's gonna hurt Wombat's feelings because he was the first guest, but like you were the first one. I'm like, no, I gotta get Sperry over here because it's
justice for Wombat.
no justice for Wombat. Okay, he is one of my biggest trolls. I love him to death, and I'm still salty over the fact that like he just yelled at me the last time he was on for being on the Star Wars talk. So no justice for Wombat.
Good for your
Okay,
character. That's good for your character.
but no, I appreciate you. Everybody, make sure you go follow Sperry where you can, because like I said, she's just an amazing person to be around and get to see her content. So again, thank you for being here. Everybody else, thank you for joining us for the show. It's been great. For those of you on YouTube, hope you had a great time. Remember to like and subscribe to the show, and we'll see you next week. Again, all of Sperry's information I'll have listed down below in the description so you guys can check her out as well. But yeah, thank you so much, YouTube. Thank you so much, Twitch. If you guys want to watch live, we'll be doing this every Monday live at noon Central Time over at twitch.tv/Wellgo. Or you can wait for the scheduled maintenance VOD to come out on YouTube every Tuesday the following day. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Remember, drink some water, take your meds, eat your food, and above all else, be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself, give yourself some grace, and yeah, we'll see you on the next episode. Before we go, I'd like to give a special shout out to everyone over on the Patreon, as well as thank you again for watching this video. If you liked what you saw and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing. That way you're guaranteed to see more of my content, and it's the best way to support the channel and the work that I do. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.